Opinions and ideas expressed in the following Moraine Valley Broadcast Channel recording are those of its creators and do not represent the views of Moraine Valley Community College.
Hello and welcome to This Made Me Laugh, episode 23, featuring Areli with Superbad, Lewis with Friends, and Jesus with the Kent Williams Pimp Chronicles, and I, Omar, with Borat.
Hey, so my choice was Superbad, which was released in August 17, 2007. The reason why I chose this movie was because my family, I have a big family. I am the oldest in the girl, and all my cousins, I was pretty much, my childhood was growing up with all boys, and we all enjoyed reading, like reading books and watching movies. So one day I was with my cousins and they all said, oh, let's watch the fairy movie we watched the other time. And so we decided watching it, and we found it so funny, and we would always continuously watch the movie. And background knowledge from the movie is that the character known as Seth, who is in Jonah Hill, that was his second movie in the time that he was acting. The movie is pretty much about how two best friends, they've known each other since they were little, who are Seth and Evan. They have a friend they hang out with that they met in school who is Fogel. They were in their senior year, and they were ready to go to college. They wanted to do something really big and really exciting. They wanted to be drunk and like hook up with their two crushes that they all had in their 4 years of high school. And they managed to get alcohol and go to the parties, but there was a breakup because Seth didn't get to a college that Evan was gonna go, and Evan was going to go with Fogel.
Basically, I really liked it. I had already seen this film previously. I thought it was hilarious. I think primarily hilarious because of the specific intended audience that it was towards, of course, an older population, but more towards kids that are our age, you know what I mean? Kids that are actually going off to college, that, you know, they're trying to make a big impact on their last couple days and stuff, you know, going to parties. They're, like, in specific, when they were, like, trying to get the alcohol, and then they try to get the fake ID, and then Fogel gets, like, this ridiculous name, and it's like, you know, we can all kind of relate in some sort of fashion to what they're trying to go through to, you know, be the popular kids in school. And then just like the film overall just takes on a hilarious tone, which I thought was perfect.
I really agree with you when it comes to having this movie pertain to like younger kids. I loved how Fogel, he was my favorite character of the movie, and like you said, the nickname was just hilarious, and how they all just tried to go with the party and try to like step their boundaries and do illegal things. It kind of just like reminds you of things you experienced, like you said, in the past. That's how, you know, we relate to them. It was hilarious though how the cops in the movie, they were the complete opposite of what you expected. Instead of them enforcing, they pretty much helped the kids party. It was hilarious.
Yeah, for me, the cops were my favorite characters, because they were just like so over the top. Like everything you expect them to be is just complete opposite, and they just become like, this movie doesn't start off with them at all. It starts off with, you know, Seth and Evan, and then they come in, and you don't expect them to be such a main focus of the film for like the rest of the time, but they end up being really, really funny and just a big part of the whole movie, and it's just so funny.
Yeah, I think that the cops really made the film go in a different direction, because, you know, in the beginning of the movie it was just like your regular comedy movie, but then the cops came in, they completely flipped the script, and then just set out a whole different layout,
right,
so that the storyline could be more intriguing. Because if it was just a movie about them trying to get the alcohol, and then, you know,
right, stale.
Yeah, it would be kind of stale. But then McLovin gets punched in the face, and then the cops come, and then that just adds a whole nother aspect of the movie. Yeah, so I think the separate storyline that they had with Fogel and the cops was really a perfect way to just keep the story going without having none of us just like, oh, I'm getting tired.
Get bored of it.
Yeah, get bored of it. Just
that was really
that sort of aspect of it was nice.
All right, I'm gonna introduce mine. Mine was a episode of Friends. It was season 3, episode 2, and this one was where they were all just trying to get ready for Ross's party that he was going to. And what I really like about this one is that you can watch it and not really know like any. It doesn't have to do with the plot at all. It's literally just them there, and they're all in one room. It almost like you don't have to have any background knowledge of them to enjoy this episode, and that's why, for me, also that was one of the first episodes I watched of Friends, and that's what actually got me into it. So that's why I really enjoyed my episode.
Yeah, I had actually never seen Friends. My friends like always told me to watch this, but it's a lot of episodes, so I was like, maybe it's already too far into the storyline and stuff, but it's completely opposite of that. The whole episode, they focus on that one subject of everybody trying to get ready,
Right.
And it's just, I mean, it was funny, but it's just not my type of humor. I think this type of humor is more of a grown-up type of thing, if that makes any sense.
Gotcha. Yeah. No.
Cause like they focused a lot on the couch aspect,
Yeah.
where he didn't want to get up, and then he was like, well, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do that, and then he like put on all his clothes at the end. It's just like really extraordinary. And I mean, I saw what they were trying to do with the funny aspect of that, but I just like stupid, like dumb humor, you know what I mean? So that didn't really appeal to me. But overall, I like the whole layout of like how they focus on a specific thing in one episode, so that you don't really have to know a lot about it, so you could just come in and watch it.
When it comes to which show I could relate to the most, it was Friends, especially that episode specifically, because just the whole fact of them, of main character telling everyone to get ready, but they're all just ignoring him until the last second, made it very, very similar to what goes on. And it's just hilarious because instead of doing what he says, they do the exact opposite, especially with the chair situation that they had, because they just kept going back and forth. And it was like hilarious because they just kept ignoring him and going back and forth. And then especially at the very end where the guy, he tells to take his underwear. It was just at the restaurant. Just made it very like unique.
Yeah, like first of all, I've never seen Friends. Like I've never seen the like season and everything. But
Really?
I was like really like entertained as watching it. Like I found it so like funny how like Ross is like ready to go like to the event, and like everyone's like getting ready, but like there's always something that's like stopping them like to like not get ready. And like the two guys where they were like fighting about the couch and like get out, like I found that part of like everything. Like Rachel, how at the end like, oh, I'm not going, and like to go, and then like he was actually gonna do it. She was like so surprised, and like the other friend, how he was so happy, like yeah, drink it back. And, like, yeah, I found that like funny, like in my way. I feel like I would continue watching it, like in my opinion. Like I just find it like, funny.
I really love Friends as well. The whole show is good. It's not really based on any super crazy things that happen. It's just Friends.
Yeah, that's really a great aspect to it, because I also never watched it before, but I still find it funny because it just has to do with like everyday activities, like it's nothing special. And just the fact that it's something that you create and makes it more entertaining, makes you want to watch it more, even though you haven't really watched it in the episode.
Alright, so going forward, I had Cat Williams, Chronicles Part 1. So basically, me and my cousins, we used to sleep over at his houses, every weekend, play video games, that sort of stuff. This was like back in my age grade. And we were scrolling through the channel, and we saw Cat Williams, and we were like, what an odd like title, you know what I mean? So we clicked on it, and then we just saw this guy with like a perm just like talking, you know what I mean? And it was like stand up, and I had never seen stand up comedy up to this point. So I watched it, I really enjoyed it. At the time, like, I didn't understand a lot of the adults because he talks a lot about adult subjects. But like now going back and watching it was awesome. But he basically, before this, he was working his way up the stand up comedy ladder. And then this was his first ever HBO stand up that was taped in front of like a live audience. So it was like one of his first major appearances. There was a cutscene in the beginning, I don't know if you guys saw it, with Snoop Dogg, and they were like smoking. Snoop Dogg liked him so much that he endorsed that whole episode of the Pimp Chronicles, this first part. So I just want to hear what your guys' opinions on it.
For me, I've never really enjoyed stand-up comedy, but I really enjoyed this one I don't know why, it was just different for me. And I like how much he uses like movement into his thing.
Yeah,
Like, he's
exactly.
very like, he moves all around,
Yeah.
stops, like drops on the ground and stuff like that. One of the things that I really like, one of the quotes, is when he said that in Atlanta, dreams can come true or you can die at the stoplight. Either way. I really like that line.
Which is also like, if you don't know about the crime rate in Atlanta, so like if you were young like me watching this for the first time, you didn't know about the crime rate, you wouldn't understand it.
Right.
But like now as we're growing up, we know about crime, death. At this time, Atlanta, you know, they were facing a lot of deaths, but it's also a beautiful place, so that's why he kind of contrasted those two things.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said about you watching this when it was in 8th grade, that's actually when I first was introduced to Cat Williams, and it was pretty funny because, like, obviously it was a lot of adult content. So my friend, he's like, "Oh, let's watch the stand-up comedian," and then it was hilarious but then, you know, I had to be secretive about it because if my parents found out I was watching this, they'd be pretty mad.
Yeah.
But every part of it is funny, like you said, especially how he animates like the stories. Like
Yeah.
he'll act them out, and it makes it more funny. And it's the way that he just relates to, like, you know, he said recreational
Yeah.
drugs and everything, just makes you laugh, and how it's endorsed and everything.
Yeah, real topics.
Yeah, like I feel like I know it was like entertaining and funny. He would make you laugh, like, but I liked how he still related to like real life, like our life, like what kind of people you're putting in your life, like having good vibes and everything. Like, I really did enjoy it. I never seen stand-up comedies, but this was a really good one.
Yeah, I really liked how even though there was a humor, there still was like some serious tones, especially when he's like life is too short, you know, it's for you to be like angry about it all the time, and like you're supposed to live your life and be happy.
Yeah.
And also going back to him just always moving around the stage, like even how you said if you were just listening to only audio, like if I were to only listen to audio, in my head I still imagine him moving around and bouncing on stage
Yeah.
and everything.
Mhm.
It's just how he is. Like when you listen to Cat Williams, you just picture his movements because that's how he acts out his stand-up and makes it more enjoyable and funny.
Yeah, and for sure, we can all agree that the audience is definitely older, because if you don't really understand what he's talking about and can relate it to your life, then you wouldn't really get the humor.
I picked a movie called Borat, and this movie was introduced to me by my friend from high school, and the funny part is he always used to make references from the movie and say phrases that the main character always used to say. And then eventually I asked him, I was like, what are you getting that from? And he was like, "Oh, it's Borat." And he's like, "It's a super funny fake documentary." And then I go ahead and watch it, and basically it's supposed to be a documentary, but it's fake. That's why it's a comedy, and it's hilarious because the main character, he goes to all parts of the country and he interviews people and he asks them questions, and the way he interacts with them is just pure like comedy gold, because it's just a combination of awkwardness and just him not pretending like he doesn't know how to act makes it hilarious.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all those interviews were like actual interviews, and those people didn't know what was gonna happen.
Yeah,
if
that
you
was
guys
the
can
case.
agree with me.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
wondered
what-
if
Yeah,
it was like while I was watching the movie, I was like, is this actually
Yeah.
real life or like actually script?
Yeah,
Like,
80% of the movie was real.
Yeah, when I was
Yeah.
watching, I was like, oh my god, this is real. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I liked it. It's a lot of like really adult content humor, so like kids should definitely not be seeing this, because especially towards the end
yeah.
where they were like fighting
Oh
each
yeah,
other.
that
and
brawl, dude. That
Yeah, where they
lasted
were-
for so
they
long
were
too.
all-
I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And then how they went into like the actual conference room,
Yeah.
Oh
and
my
it was
God,
just
yeah.
like, it's definitely adult content, but
so long.
I thought it was really funny. I had already seen this movie previously, so there's nothing much I could say. It was just hilarious.
I like how it's introduced, because there's no like plot line at the beginning. It's just like, I'm here,
Yeah,
and this
yeah,
is
like it
where I live.
starts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just starts. I'm like, did I skip something? Like when I was first time, like, do I have the wrong link or something? And then I like when he introduces the kindergarten kids and they're just sitting there with like
Yeah,
AKs.
like
Oh, yeah.
47s and stuff, yeah.
And then he like makes out with some girl and he's like, this is my sister. And it's like just so crazy. Introduction was really unique to that film.
Yeah, it was something that you just wonder, like, well, me, like, in my aspect, like, I was just like, is this, like, actually real? Like, something that you don't even imagine. Like, it comes from one thing to another. Like, you're like, oh, my God, this is happening, like, this and this. And, like, I liked it.
He tries to make it seem like it's a serious tone throughout the end, because he's
Yeah.
like for real serious. Like he's like, my country's the
Mhm.
best. Like, you know all that extraordinary stuff that he was saying, but like the way that he portrayed it to us and how we take it in was definitely not serious. It was like, you know, really funny, and I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just what I got out of it.
Yeah, I like how he just like mocks like actual documentaries.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's
Just
actually
making-
humor in it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap things up. Thanks for watching episode 23 of This Made Me Laugh.